Hey everybody, I think I'm live. Let me just give people a moment to join and send out a message saying I'm doing this. Right, should be ready in a second. Alright, I guess let's get this started. Ask any questions you'd like as I'm going. Obviously, if I'm over by the white box, I'm not by my computer, so give me a moment to respond. But let's open this up, and how am I going to do this without bumping into the camera every 2 seconds? All right, slightly shaky cam warning coming up. Let me, yeah, I think that'll work-ish. Let me get a little closer. What am I stuck on? All right. Probably should have thought of that before the stream, but hey, can't have a stream of mine without something going wrong. I'd rather it be a silly camera angle than anything actually bad. Okay. Well, cool box already, that's for sure. And I'm always one that, I mean, it could get sent in a paper bag for all I care, as long as it's properly shipped, we don't have to worry about it getting damaged, whatever. But, you know, cool box is fun. Like the Superstation 1 box was noticeable. It made you take notice. So does this. Okay, let me open one of these. I'm going to try to slide this out here. Alright, and mess it up. Got instruction manual. I'm sure I'm going to have to reference this, so I'm going to put this over by my computer. DJ Geki, what game will I use for testing, and why is it Street Fighter 3 Third Strike? So, if you'd ever made it down to Brooklyn Arcade when they had the Third Strike tournaments, you would realize that I will never play Third Strike on camera. I'm so bad at it. And listen, I don't mind being bad at video games. Video games are one of the few things in the world you could be terrible at, play against a top-tier competitor, and it's still fun. It's not like you're, playing football against some of the best linebackers on there. You're going to get killed. Or MMA or anything like that. But it's just, I'm so bad that it's just not even worth it. Alright, trackball. It comes with a USB cable and a small Allen key. And probably shouldn't have done that realizing I have a mic in front of my face. My apologies. Bonehead move. Ooh, it's pretty. Ooh, alright, let's put on the... Alright, this is very cool. So, a couple of things right off the bat. The spinner feels nice. It does the infinite spin thing for the most part. It's not as hefty and as infinite as like a dedicated, $80 spinner, but this whole thing is like $200, I believe. So you can't have, a third of the cost just on the spinner. Trackball feels okay. Buttons feel good. I hate doing this because I'm like everybody's grandma, where I would leave the plastic on my couch if it wasn't so embarrassing to do so these days. So, but I would leave these on to keep them protected. But in order to get a real feel, I got to take these off. But also, one thing I've learned is that if you leave it on too long, you actually could do damage to stuff. And the number one thing I always think about is Sega Master System with the little clear cover over the label. That always ends up messing with, if it's still on now, take it off very carefully. Alright, sorry, I gotta get my giant head in here. Always leave it to me to mess up the easiest thing. Alright. It's got 2 buttons on the side here. I think these are... So this obviously is designed to be the everything stick, right? So if you're playing pinball style games, here's your bumpers right here. You could also, if you wanted to, use them as basically anything else. Removable backplate with the USB output. I love that it's removable in case there's any other options that could be eventually wired in. I bet you people with super guns might want a dedicated DB15 port for just direct input. That's something that when I had super guns, I would always use on every game unless I needed rapid fire. Then that's the only time I wouldn't use it. Even though for me personally, 1 millisecond versus 0 milliseconds, that's for any gamer really, it's not going to be a difference. But yeah, that's cool. All right, let me check the chat. Coffee Cup Arcade, they read the spinner and trackball are PC only. I wonder if Mr. plays nice and MAME. Oh, you bet I'm going to be trying both of those. Absolutely. To Giant Head. Hello there. All right, so I think what I want to do, even though it's not really fair, I want to compare this to my personal favorite fight stick. One that I thought I would never sell, but had a whole bunch of bills come in and a root canal, so if I'm grumpy today, that's why. My face hurts. But I think I might have to sell this one. And it's still my favorite. Hold on, let me just... I even got... It's giant. Comes in this, but let me take a look. Because I put a stupid amount of money into this, which is not smart, because I'm not a pro gamer. But I wanted a stick, a forever stick. Voltar was here. I'm sure he'd have lots of jokes to make about that, but that's fine. Bring them on. All right, I'll put this up here. I'll put this one here. So this is my Vuelix. Oh, now I'm actually really, really glad I put this out. So some people were complaining that everything was too close together, and I want you to see this. So it's not really much smaller, all things considered. We'll find out. Maybe the spinner will get in the way up here. Maybe. I mean, the spinner, not the trackball. But yeah, this is actually a nice layout. I do the heft of the Vuelix. So like if you're somebody who, you live in the city, you're throwing this over your shoulder to go to a fighting game tournament, hell no. And this one is a little bit, bent up and beat, but this is heavy. It's not going to move. It's not going to slide around. I put the best buttons in there. Of course, I dropped something and scratched that one. What a total moron. This is a bit more of an infinite spinner. Let's have a spin off. I'm such a nerd. I mean, it's pretty darn close. It is pretty close. I'm going to start with Mr., by the way, and then I want to try Replay OS as well, because those are just by far my favorites these days. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, all right. And just for the record, this one right here, I used a hole cutter to make this the same size, because these Vuelix buttons had the start button sized ones here, and I left everything right in there. Now, the other thing about this one is it has a couple of things. It's got a Brook Retro board for USB. It's got direct wired DB15, and this is the port for the spinner, and the spinner is also wired to these two. But the way it's wired inside, you could plug and play and switch it around. So I'm going to be very interested to compare these two to see how they feel, and I know it's unfair. Wildly different price points. Wildly different. But, I mean, I don't know. If I end up liking the Vuelix a lot more, I'll feel bad because it's not really a fair comparison. If this one holds its own, it'll actually be a great comparison. But this weighs a fraction of the weight, which for your average person, yeah, it's going to be much better. Much, much better. Giant meatheads like me and beasts. Sorry, dude, I love you, buddy, but you're not a small man. It feels super comfy. The extra space in the Vuelix was fun, but once you get past this, shipping becomes wildly different. And anybody that's shipped, especially globally, will start to realize how weird some of these rules are. So if you have something, I'm making this part up, but you got something that's this big, it's $20 to ship. You got something that's this big, it's $35. It's a big difference. And while I might just be exaggerating a little bit, I'm not exaggerating a lot. It's weird, the differences between them like that. All right, let me put this over here, but we're not done. Oh no. But wait, there's more. Well, let me check the chat before I move on. Is the cost inflated currently, or does it seem worth it? So based on specs alone, it's worth it because you couldn't build one of these for the same price. Let's see how it performs, though. Or if you could build it for the same price, it'd be real close. Hardcore recently got the R10 Pro. Can you test it with the Mister? Hell yes, that's coming up next. Ooh. Okay, good point. Test it on multiple Misters. Thank you. And did the Vuelix come with the spinner, or did I modify it? Nope. I used a hole saw or a hole saw bit to, wait, a hole saw drill bit? Hole bit? What are those called? But yeah, I widened it to make it the same width as a standard button. So if anybody wanted the Vuelix, you could just put a standard button in there. But that thing, you know, Vuelixes are selling for $1,000 now. Oh, wait, look. Aha! That's going to be fun. Yeah, Vuelixes are selling for $1,000. So that's not worth $1,000. That's a modified Vuelix. That's not for a collector. That's for somebody that wants to play. You know, like a fancy looking truck with a new coat of paint on it versus just like an old diesel workhorse that'll never die. That's what that is. But this right here is a steering wheel controller and some pedals for racing games. And I'm also super interested to see how this is, because a lot of times this is fun but a little gimmicky, and other times it's just kind of perfect. So let me get the Fightbox back. So, does this just slide over? Is that what? Because then this will clip onto here. Yeah, this is going to be fun and silly, and I'm interested to see how this works, but I'm also interested to see how this goes on without hurting it. Well, let me, since I got this out, let me snap a quick pic. Oh, I will answer those questions in a couple minutes. I should have, I forgot that there was a difference. My apologies. And for the record, I know it's kind of rude to do this while you all are watching, but I got to get this stuff done one way or the other, and I already got the white box up, so my apologies. All right, let me go through the chat. So people are questioning 8 buttons versus 6 buttons. I believe there's now going to be a choice on which one that you want, because people had said the 8 button was a little too crowded. If you just saw the Vuelix that I had, I don't think so at all. But I wanted to show this one off because it's new, but also because I personally, for the games that I play, will never use more than a 6-button layout. I do realize that that's not the case for everybody, so there will be a choice going forward. So, yeah, that's the explanation of that. I should have opened with that one. My bad. But let me see what else we got. Looks like it was specifically made for off-road. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Can see some cool 3D print projects to make some more custom attachments. Yes, I could as well. All right, so let me move this out of the way, grab a CRT, and start playing. And we could figure out how we want to do this. Depending on the setup, I might switch between just HDMI out or just leave it so you can see the stick. I don't know. We're going to do this together, and then chat's going to tell me. I have a feeling CRT with the stick is probably the best way to do this one. But the only right answer is what everybody else would prefer. So let me put this here. All right. From the chat, as I'm grabbing this stuff, do you vote for PVM or consumer grade CRT with component video input? I'm grabbing both of my misters just so I could test both for people questions in the chat. I'll grab my Superstation 1 as well as the other mister. Okay. Adam, the microphone is so good I could hear the birds happily chirping. This is that same headset I always talk about, that cheap headset. Not the best, but cheap and good. Ooh, we already have one vote for each. One component consumer, one PVM. I'll grab my other mister. And while I'm in here, I'm also going to see if I could find my lag test kit. Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't used it since the last time I did a live stream using it. I have so much junk in here. I don't even know what half of this is anymore. It's pretty scary to think how much money I have invested in all these tools. And forgot I even have half of them. Alright, well, let's start here and see if I need any more. Checking the chat again. 2 votes for CRT with component. All right, well look, I'm going to do the laziest thing, and the CRT with the component video is closest. And it's larger and heavier, and who needs a functioning back by the time they hit 50? So here we go, consumer grade CRT. This is one my buddy Andy got me that's basically brand new, and I love it because it's essentially poor man's JVC D series. Has a similar tube, not the same, similar, and overall I think it just works very well. So let's connect this all up. One thing that's kind of funny about this is I bought 2 remotes for it and neither work. And I have no idea why. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. Because I believe this did work with a pre-programmed remote. So yeah, I don't get what's going on there, but Alright, gotta grab a big PSU. Gotta open up the R10 and see how much room is inside. So I have a very hard cutoff at 2:30 today. I got an appointment I gotta get to, but I will do as much as I can before that time. I would love to lag test it today, but if I can't, if it's gonna take longer to set up the equipment than it is to do the lag test, I might have to follow up tomorrow or Sunday or maybe even Monday or Tuesday or something. Alright, grab this. So let's gonna set this to, oh, that's right, you have to delete the other, I forgot about that. The Superstation 1 is great, but there's a couple of quirks that Taki really needs to work out just to make the overall experience better. The Mr. Example INI shouldn't be on the micro SD card at all because you lose one option. There's only 3 options. So deleting that, now we have our options back, so we could set it to component video. See, YPV. Huh? Oh. Let me try this again. I hope I don't have to move that and go get the PVM instead. Wait, I have vague memories of doing this in the Superstation 1 live stream. Try this again. Okay. Hey, there we go. All right, so let's set this sucker up. So I'm going to, what do I do with the stick? All right, I'm going to use the USB cable it came with just because. I can't imagine I would find a difference and there would be a problem, but I could absolutely imagine me making a dumb enough mistake as running into a problem because I used a different cable with it. So I'm just going right into the front. Oh, a little green light lit up. So let's map the buttons. You know, also let me change the angle so you all could see everything. And that'll change the lighting a bit too. Cool. Hey, what's up, Smoke? I just emailed you the other day, actually. I couldn't find you on anywhere, actually. Not sure if you saw on the second channel, but I got a new coffee machine, and I hate how much it cost. It was a gift for somebody, so it was a gift for my wife. So and we only get each other fancy gifts like once a year. So all right, it's not showing up as an analog stick, which is fine. I'm just checking. I probably should go back and check the mouse button. All right, let me try this again and see if the mouse shows up. All right, neither are showing up. So I spun the mouse, or I spun the wheel. I spun the trackball. Oh, it did. Okay, let me start this again and be careful here. Yeah, it's not. All right, I'll skip that. Mouse move left. No. All right, so now it's time to reference the manual to make sure I'm not messing with anything here. All right. No, I don't know why I pretend that I don't need glasses anymore. It's more embarrassing than not. Let me just read this. So, how to connect? Press and hold the corresponding button. Well, that's really small. 2K. All right, so let's unplug this. We're going to hold down the PC mode button. Plug this back in. There's also a Nintendo Switch and a PlayStation 3 mode. So I'm curious, does this light up a different color for the different modes? Let's see. Let's unplug it. Let's press 1K. Let's do the Nintendo Switch mode. No, it's all the same. So, okay. Unplug. Hold it down. It's so funny to me that I moved out of New York City, away from all those sirens, and I moved next to an ambulance depot and moved right next to all those sirens. All right, I think that should be all we need, so let's try this again. So they're not showing up as analog sticks. Nope, not showing up either, as like that. Nothing. I'm skipping with this. Menu, back. All right, so let's just go in and let's try Arkanoid. Let's see what we got. Not found. Oh, I didn't. All right, I'm a moron. I have to take the SD card with all the arcade games out of this and put it in here. Sorry, everybody. That's a very stupid mistake. Now I gotta map the buttons again. This should only take a second, though. Okay. Hey, Shadow Mask. No, it's just settings. JT says they may be wrong, but that joystick setup is just to emulate mouse movement. Mister should also auto-detect your mouse. We'll see in a second. Yeah. But let's see. And call me out here if you see more mistakes, because maybe that was it. Maybe I need to set it up in a different spot. We'll find out in a second. Okay. Going back over to YPB. Oh, no. Come on. Alright. Totally moronic that I picked a vertical game, but it's the one that I know requires a spinner, so... Keyboard, joystick, mouse. Define buttons. Fire. No. All right. Okay, it's just working. I mean, I'm looking at it sideways, so y'all are gonna have to excuse how terrible I'm gonna be. I'm curious, is it gonna work with the trackball as well? Yeah, it just works. It works with both. Okay. Please call out any games that would require on Mister a trackball or a spinner, and preferably try to find me one that that is horizontally oriented. I think y'all know what I'm gonna have to pick next, just to try it out as a general arcade stick. I'll check the chat and then I'll come back and play around at MK. Yeah, I really do like the Superstation 1 for a Mister. If you need analog video output, this is currently the king. And if you don't, then you could just probably get a cheaper one. But, I mean, not that much cheaper, to be honest. Oh, did I forget to add this? Well, shit, I guess I'm not... I could swear I added this one already. But maybe it was on an SD that didn't... Yeah, alright. We'll try that in a bit. We'll see. Because I also want to try it out on the different Mister, because somebody was talking about USB ports and stuff like that. So let me just try a different arcade game. I'm horrible at Street Fighter, but whatever, I like it. So y'all are just going to have to watch me be terrible. I'll only play a couple rounds, though, and then I'll take suggestions from the chat for trackball and spinner games on Mister. I could also grab Replay OS and try that real quick, too. Yeah, oops. I hit the wrong button. Light punch. Coin. No, alright. I love the CRT. It feels just like a higher end arcade monitor, basically. Because some arcade monitors were trash. Or maybe became trash after a couple of years, but whatever. That's me. Lose after I already won the match. But so as a non-pro player, I don't have any red flags. Now, if Beast were here, he might have more to add. So I certainly keep my opinion on the stick as somebody with meaty hands that's a casual player that at least understands what trash is. There's no possible way this thing's trash. But I don't have the same instincts as a pro player. And at the same time, I can say that the right hand position is totally fine. Even when I'm hitting the upper buttons, there's just nothing weird about this at all. The spinner, or the spinner's not getting in the way. Some people would definitely prefer more hand space on the left hand side, like with my Vuelix. But there's certainly nothing bad about this one. The buttons seem to have more travel than the Sanwa buttons from the Vulix. Yeah, definitely. So when we eventually switch to MK, I'd like to see the difference there. But let me check the chat here. Missile command for trackball, okay. Missile command, I'll try that. Arcade Forgotten Worlds uses the spinner for aiming. Alright. It should work for the NES version of Arkanoid, but the last time I tried was years ago, and it didn't, so... Sorry, my phone's blowing up with spam. I just got 4 messages telling me I owed money for taxes, and then I'm getting money back for taxes, and there's a complaint out with 1 day left before I go to jail. Does anybody fall for those ever? All right, so I'm gonna try and see if I have Forgotten Worlds on here. I do. Does it work? Forgotten Worlds, and it was Missile Command was the other one people had said. So oh, interesting. So I wonder if it's gonna, you know what, let me cancel out of this. Okay, that's totally working. 0 setup. It even works with the trackball. I would definitely prefer the spinner for this, but there is one thing I want to do here. So define buttons. Let me just skip everything. Why can I not skip this? Alright, right, left, down, up. Shoot. And then let me just exit out of here. Alright, so I have shoot. Well, yeah, too late. But I have shoot now at the button right next to this. So let's see how that works with my hand on the trackball. Yeah, this is just working. Even though the palm of my hand is touching the trackball, it's not affecting my movements at all, even though it's kind of sort of moving slightly. I guess I gotta remap all the buttons for this to work, right? Right, left, down, up, shoot. Start going. No. Alright. So I guess it technically is moving a little bit with my hand on the trackball, but it's not affecting the game at all. Like I'm still I'm still just using my middle finger on my right hand to twirl it, and even when my hand shifts a little bit, that kind of supersedes it. So, once again, not a pro gamer, but I would absolutely be able to tell if this thing was complete garbage. So it's definitely not. It's definitely good. I just don't know if it's pro level, but it's promising, that's for sure. Oh, I ran into the shop again. All right. So what was the other one? Missile Command? And what about a trackball game? While I'm waiting for this to load, let me check the chat and see if anybody came up with a good trackball game. Where's the M's? Right in front of my face. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I have Tempest on here. I could try to do an update. We'll see. Adam, yes, the Mister remembers every button mapping for every core, and it's by far the easiest way to map buttons on arcade games I've ever seen. Oh yeah, Costardo, you should just save it in the menu like I did. Retro Reloaded, I don't have any modern FPSs. Missile Command is the trackball game, and Marble Madness as well. I actually love that game, so we could try... we could definitely try and see if that's on Replay OS as well. Oh, shit. Let's try this again. Okay, so this isn't going to cut it. We gotta, there's got to be something in the settings here. Oh, there was right there. Mouse trackball speed. Let's do 100%. Yeah, much better. I'm out. This is the first time I've played this game in a very long time, if ever. Okay, well that works, and it was just simply a matter of going to mouse and trackball speed and setting it, and that's it. That's cool. That's really cool. Let me see. I don't think I updated it to get Tempest. Let me double check. No, but man, I wish I did. I do like that game a lot. Let's update all has gone infinitely faster these days. By the way, I'm still having trouble with Wi-Fi on the Superstation 1. And that way it gives me, while this is updating, I will grab a moment to, or take a moment to grab the stuff I need for Replay OS. We'll see if this is powerful enough to, if the HDMI adapter is going to be powerful enough to power this. Got this all here and ready. And I guess while we're doing this, let me also grab the cable to try component video from the other mister. I'll check the chat too. Let's see. Can Mr. run Golden T? Oh, does it have it yet? I don't think so. The trackball is backlit. Is Marble Madness on the Mister yet? I don't remember at all. I'm sorry. Mr. Jason Munson, yes, I have found exactly that. It's very finicky and kind of annoying, to be honest with you. But what kind of blows my mind is that Retro Remake's Superstation 1 has it built onto the motherboard. But if I take the SD card out of this mister, which is working fine, and plug it into the Superstation 1, I almost never get Wi-Fi. And you could even see here, it's connected with Ethernet, but not Wi-Fi. All right, so let's, I'll look for Marble Madness and I'll look for Tempest. Wow, I totally forgot Marble Madness was on here. Craziness. All right, let's see. File not found. That's weird. Oh, sorry. All right, let's switch this sucker over, and I'll do Replay OS after. But let's put this back over here. Maybe one day I'll just, because I have to do this at some point anyway, I'll just do a really boring stream where I update my Superstation 1 so that I don't have to do this every time I do a live stream. Oh, great, the thing popped out again. You know, that's... I guess Taki didn't fix that for the second round. It's not a big deal, but that is pretty annoying. I mean, that's something that should have been caught in QA, not having the ability to keep your sides on. Come on. Lon got his too recently, Lon Sideman, and the same thing happened with Lon. Popped right off immediately, so it's not just me. Although at this point that would mean there would be two that did it to me, so I think we could all agree. Two different runs of production. It's a production issue. It's not just mine. Right. Connect all this. Red, blue. Right, I'm gonna need sync on green. Oh, would help if I plugged it in. All right, so let's just go back to go back to missile command to test USB ports, because somebody at the beginning of the stream had said that it worked on their Superstation 1, but not a different one of their misters. Trackball is working. I didn't save the position, though. Yeah, trackball is still working without issue, even though I switched misters. So if somebody's having an issue with that, I would just try and make sure you figure out what USB hub you're using with your mister. And if you have an older I/O board that maybe doesn't have enough power going to it, or do you have a powerful enough power supply going to your mister? That would be another one that would definitely do it. Because the ones that came with the DE10 often don't have enough amperage for everything, so you need to get a much better PSU. Okay. No Tempest, huh? Was that just an update all? All right. So I guess I'll switch to Replay OS after this, since we had to get this working anyway. I'm going to do a couple rounds at this, then I'm going to switch over to my Vuelix and go from there and see. I'm also going to be doing the weird layout where both blocks are in the middle, just so because I want to force myself to go near that trackball and the spinner as much as I can. I don't have any complaints so far, but I'm really interested to see how it feels versus my Vuelix. You know, it was funny, I was hitting the middle buttons because I often have it set up a different way. Oops. Alright, so that felt great. Let me bring the Vuelix over and try that one and see if I could really feel a difference, and then I'll stop for the chat. Wow, what a difference. What a difference in weight. That's for sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to reboot the mister or if I can get away with just swapping it, but we'll find out in a second. Hey, what's up, Clint? It's next to BIOS download? Block 2 not working somehow? I must be doing something wrong here. I guess let me reboot it. Let me reboot it and make a quick change real quick. And then I'll check the chat again. The voltage problems with the spinner, not the trackball. Okay, I'll try the spinner again on this one. Thank you. Almost done. Just making a quick adjustment on that micro SD. Auto CIFS boot will kill. Oh, really? All right. I will. I could disable that by default then. That wouldn't be too hard. The steering wheel I got to try too. Yeah, absolutely. So there's probably no chance at all of me being able to lag test this one today, but that's all right. Let me redefine these buttons. I had the switch in the wrong position. That's what was going on before. Okay. All right, I'll do a round of MK, and then I will... Oh, what did I hit? There we go. Round of MK with the Vuelix. Then I will try another spinner game, probably Forgotten Worlds again. Oh, you know what happened with this? So that's not a big deal. That's just if you have CIFS in a misture, when you go... let me do this real quick. Uh-oh. It just, if you... I can't talk and do this at the same time. I'm not smart enough. Hold on a second. Okay. If you're connecting to your network, so like I do, I load everything off of RetroNAS except my arcade, then you have... it thinks the authenticator for MK has to check 2 different spots. And that's what the issue is. So it thinks that you've authenticated to a different one. And look, you could love or hate their system. I don't really care. I want to play MK. As long as they hold up their end of the bargain with everything, I'm fine. Oh, I didn't map these. Come on, moron. All right, save settings. So the extra space on the left side isn't a game changer, but it definitely, like, there's no chance of this falling off. Yeah, the button travel time is definitely better on the Vuelix, and that's something that, for me, who's not a pro gamer, is not a deal breaker, but there's definitely a reason my friends told me to buy these buttons. I'll play another round or 2 with the Vuelix, and then I'll go back. And I think that's always the better choice when doing stuff like this, just to see. Alright, let me grab the other stick and try again. I'll check the chat after. I want to do one right after the other just to see. And let me continue, so I could just keep going right on a harder one and see. It actually works itself out. All right. So, I'm not complaining about these at all, but I like the other one better. I like the buttons from the other one, which, you know, with all these sticks, you can customize them however you'd like, basically, but I'm just being honest. The shorter throw of the buttons, even as a non-pro gamer, just feels a little bit better. The stick feels about the same. Alright, let's go back to Forgotten Worlds and try the spinner game. But, just to show everybody, the Wi-Fi worked perfectly on this mister, so. Even with CIFS, because it's the same config. I don't remember if we saved it here. Shoot.
Did you find the guys?
Let's save settings. Spinner is still working on this mister. Now this is using a good tablet USB-C power supply. Not an expensive one, but just not... Basically, whenever you use mister, you should probably invest in a good power supply. Spend like 20 bucks on it. And don't cheap out for this exact reason, because you never want... And by the way, I'm not accusing anybody of cheaping out. I'm just, if you don't know, how would you know, right? You buy a D10, it comes with a power supply. How would you even think that you would need to upgrade that? So I'm not crapping on anybody here. I'm just saying, anybody with a mister should be using a decent power supply. But yeah, this is fine. I would like the option, please tell me if this is a thing though, but I'd love the option in this game to do the opposite. Have it always fire unless you press the button. Because I'd much rather just be holding on to this stick right now. Actually, is that an option in the menu here? Diff. I don't know what turbo is. We'll just have to find out. All right. So I'm going to check the chat in a second. Let me just try again to launch update all and see if I can get Tempest. I'll check the chat and we'll see what else we need to do. Oh, I could swear I have my MAME set to, or my update all set to download all of that, but we'll see. Thanks though, Clint. Jason, as you can see, this is definitely being powered by this mister. Now, Ivory from Retro Castle is pretty awesome with this stuff and designed an excellent mister. So that could be it. It could be that older I/O boards don't have the right power, but I'd be willing to bet the actual issue here is the power supply. But I could be wrong. No Tempest, huh? It was just released. All right. Hardcore said the lag test is probably not needed as it uses the GP2040 CE. I know, but I'm a nerd. This stuff makes me happy. Hey, Shadow Mask. Yeah, I just did a post on that yesterday, and that was embarrassing. But we all missed it. Me, Ken, Lon, and obviously Taki. So I feel less stupid, but yeah. Yep, Callum, that was that. It was MK Mister. Shadow Mask, I talked to Taki, and he basically, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but he was like, hey, here's the pinout I used. It's on the internet. And it's like, it also says the earth is flat on the internet, so could have checked with, I don't know, anybody. However, I didn't say that because his response to me could have been, yeah, like you who screwed it up. So I just kept my mouth shut because that mistake, not only could that reversing of the audio mistake have happened to me, I guarantee you that it would have happened to me. The difference is when I'm making a product or when I'm helping my friends develop their products, I'm stupidly anal about this to the point where if I found it reversed, I would then go back and recheck everything else 2 or 3 times. So, yeah. All right, stream has been checked, or chat has been checked. I tried for Tempest. So, let's see here. I'm going to set up Outrun with the spinner, and then I'm going to try to put that wheel thing on and see what happens after that. Oh, I'm going to plug those pedals in too, which is going to be interesting because I have a very tall chair, so I might have to do this standing. I just hope that if I fall, it's on camera so we could all enjoy it together. All right, here are the foot pedals. Is it going to reach all the way to the floor? It does. Okay, that's good. It's being detected because you could see it's when I stepped on it, it did something. Outrun. All right. All right, it's not responding to the pedals here at all, which is fine. We'll figure this out. So all right, we're not able to get this to work in Outrun at all. I think control type, analog stick, analog triggers, analog wheel. All right, let's try this. No. But maybe that means I then have to try to remap it. So accelerate. Okay, okay. And brake. I was able to remap them. No, that's not working. Maybe I gotta reset. Nothing. Alright, I'll try one more time here. Define, right, left, down, up, accelerate, brake, gear, start pulling, credits, no. Remap. So this, pull K32, that one. Menu is finish. No. Clear. Anybody ever do this before? Not working with the spinner or that. So let's get this. Remap. So this. It's there. It's there. No, even though it said it was doing it in here, it didn't. So that's interesting. I could switch over to Replay OS now and try it there, but I'm going to try to check the chat. Hey Felipe, is Sega Sonic on, mister? No, but let's switch over now. So I'm going to take this. Put that mister over here. Get my cheap component video DAC. Hopefully I could power this right off of the Pi. Otherwise I'm going to have to go climb under my table to try to get the power supply. Skip that and just go there. I should check and see what resolution this thing's spitting out. Yeah, let me do that. It should have been pre-configured for... you know what? I think it was. I'm going to have to climb under the table here. Hold on a second. Jason, the spinner was working in Mister for every game except Outrun, and I think that's a configuration thing. But let me just let me go grab my power supply and try something else. Well, that's just like a sick joke. As soon as I get the thing out and I come over with the power supply, everything's working again. Well, I'm sure that was the issue then. I just needed enough power to sync onto it. But, okay. Arcade, Neo, let's see. Let's try Outrun here and see what happens. What was the... Nope, that's not at all what I wanted to do. Not at all. Wrong button. I guess we'll see very shortly if that really was just the power supply, because if it comes up in less than a minute, then there you go. And then, poof. Beautiful. All right, it was the power supply. Golden Tee Golf's here. We should try that too. But I want to try a wheel just because. Let's just try that.
Get ready.
None of the buttons work. Okay. Let's try system input. Test physical button. That's a good one. So the pedal's not showing up because it's probably just showing it as a different controller. Oh. Try this again. Okay, it has the button on the side, and it's not working with the spinner, which is fine. I'm sure this is a settings thing. I'm just I want to give everybody an idea of what to expect with this. So steering. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it to work on this one. So let's try a different one. Let's try, what was it, off-road? Jason, this is the 6-button version that's about to be released. I actually prefer it because none of the games that I use would use the extra 2 buttons. And it just gives you a little more space to have all the rest of this stuff. But you should be able to choose either soon enough. Wasn't there replay options? There we go. Have I ever had an issue where a component shows menu, but when you launch a core, the video scrambles? Only if you have per core settings on the Mr. I. Pole position, that's a good one. And then, what was the other one? It wasn't Road Warriors or something. I just rode something. Let's try Tempest. Yeah, so it's not just automatically working here at all. And we absolutely have a powerful enough power supply for this. Let's just see. Test physical button. Alright. Okay. I didn't do this at I didn't do this for Outrun. This might be where I messed this up. Okay, that does seem to be working. Okay, so maybe that's what I did with Outrun. I'm not going to be able to use the pedals, but that's pretty cool. Okay. That feels nice. Funny that it's not so off playing it sideways on this. But alright. So that worked. Let's go back to Outrun just to see. I'll check the chat again. Retro Reloaded, does this work on any consoles? I mean, if it uses a USB, yes. But I think the foot pedal here has to work only on a PC where you could, or on a system where you could actually assign multiple things, multiple controllers to the same game. So your emulator would have to be able to support that. Unless I'm missing something here, and unless this foot pedal could somehow plug into the Fightbox. But I mean, that actually would be pretty cool. I bet you I could wire it for that, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's go back. Daytona doesn't work on any of this still, right? FB Neo or MAME. Oh, and we'll try to remind me to do Golden Tee Golf just for the heck of it. Alright, we'll just do the same thing here. And now I will remember to system input, player 1, device type, mouse, let's just say ball only. I'll do mouse full and see what happens. All right.
Get ready.
It's totally working. It's just kind of sensitive. So let's see if there's any settings for that. Sorry, I screwed up last time. What a shock. Mouse, let's try. I do really wish that RTA would be able to program in so that when you hit coin 1, you just press the button. You don't actually have to select this. So let's say south button 0. So accelerate would be south. We'll go back, test physical button, east. So now we go this. Brake would be east. And gear would be west button 2. Let's try D-pad down. Alright, it's super sensitive, but it's working. Actually feels more comfortable with the trackball, and that could be a per game basis. Alright, let's see if I could fit the actual wheel over it. And does anybody have any other games they would like me to try that are racing games like this? So, let me check out a few things here. So, I'll grab the very little Allen key this comes with. Which doesn't seem to be for this somehow. I can't really get it over the spinner. I almost wish this was the kind where you had to unscrew the spinner and put this in its place, because this is all warped. And it's pretty hefty. Like, I'm strong-ish, and like, I'm not being able to do that. So let's see. I mean, they sent me this one to test, so let me just see what happens. If you were to buy it and force this thing on, let's see. This is not going well. Pole position, thank you. You said that before and I forgot. Costardo, I think this is what this was trying to do, but something happened and it warped. Wouldn't it be funny if I, like, strained myself trying to do this? I think I've told this story a million times before, but I had a coworker, God, 20 years ago now, that was out of work for like 2 weeks, and everybody was like, she said she hurt her neck opening a jar of peanut butter and was out for work for 2 weeks. And me being the young little asshole that I was, as soon as she came back, I was like, hey, did you really mess up your neck on a jar of peanut butter? And she burst out laughing, and she's like, yes, but no. I was in a really bad car accident 2 years ago, and every once in a while, it's like something is the straw that broke the camel's back type of thing. And she's like, so yes, the peanut butter was the straw, but that's not why. Yeah, that sucker's not going to work. I'm going to try stepping on this. If I shatter it, my apologies to Fightbox, but they did send me this one specifically to do a live stream with, so I'm going to try my best to get this live stream spinning. I gotta get this just right. Okay. 220 pounds didn't budge this sucker, so... Adam, there is, except the Allen key has nothing to do with that. You know what I could try? Yeah, that's going to be for the other one. I could try taking it off and then try to put it on off. That's not what they show on their website, by the way, though. I certainly didn't just invent this whole push it over the top thing. Alright, grab the other Allen key. Okay. Yeah, it's way off. Alright. I could jam this in somehow. I mean, this thing is so super warped. Alright, Time to break out some big guns. What time was it? Yeah, all right. So definitely no time for lag testing today. Once again, I think everybody who's into this stuff understands that the platform it's based off of, Fightbox isn't reinventing the wheel. They're using a well-known speedy platform. Will this work? No, how about just this? No. Alright, I didn't want to do it this way, but... Is that enough to make a difference? Sort of, not really. Alright, let me get the spinner back on here. Yeah, I'd actually much rather have that. You unbolt this, and then you on its place, and then you tighten it down with the an Allen key here. Because, yeah, it's going to take an extra second, but there's always room for improvement for stuff like this. Especially, like, think about if that tray in back, or that removable plate, like, it could totally have spots for your Allen keys to store in there. And that way you could just pop this sucker off. But, yeah, I don't know. I got my dev brain on here. Alright, I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm going to give up on the steering wheel. I could still try a couple other games, though, but just not with the wheel. Oh, okay. Sorta, kinda, ish. Alright. Replay options, reboot. Put it in some hot water. You know, I should have done that before I yanked on it. Good call. Castardo was bedbound after trying to pick a paintbrush up off the floor. Any answers to what consoles the Fightbox is compatible with? Switch, PS3, and anything that is compatible with the standard PC, as well, which includes Mister, Raspberry Pi, and, you know, PC. That's most likely this cheap DAC, which is why I did a video saying expect this to be a cheap DAC. When in doubt, reboot it all. Power. Power. Give it all a second. See what happens. This is what I always say, you get what you pay for. You want a really nice DAC, you got to spend money. You want to get something on a budget, you got to just be patient and wait for crap like this to work itself out. Alright, try this one last time. Okay. No pole position? Let me try a MAME. I don't think Daytona works in any of these, but I'm going to look for it anyway. Oh, Daytona USA? Well, let's see. I haven't ever actually tried on Replay OS. Yeah, wait a minute. What resolution does this run at? It could be too weird for this. I might require a PVM. We'll see, though. Well, that's too bad. I love Daytona. I'll have to try this again on a different... Yeah, the emulation's definitely off. Does anybody know the state of Daytona on MAME? I totally have forgotten. Castardo, yes, you can put your own artwork in. Good question. Are we coming up? Or are we not coming up? Pop. No? Yes? Alright. Come on. Let's try this again. So I'll try another racing game, and is there anything else anybody wants to see? I did try it one right after with the Vuelix. I still like the Vuelix better, both because I want something heftier, and not because of the 8-button layout, because of the button travel time. Feels shorter than these. It's not a huge difference, by the way. Like, if you're a casual player, you're probably not going to be able to tell the difference. I mean that with love. I'm just saying, this is more of a pro player type of thing to complain about. I am not a pro player at all, even a little, but I have friends who are, who teach me these things. I'll try for one more reboot of Replay OS. Unless you want me to try it on a PVM. I mean, why not kill my back? One more reboot, and then I'm giving up on this. Oh, wait. All right. We were looking for pole position and MAME. Maybe super off-road too? I think we just passed it, but we'll see. Pole position. Here we go. Hey, Ori. Hardcore, it looks like I got the standard ones, because I definitely would have preferred the other ones. Oh, Jason, really? That's awesome. Jeff, incredibly comfortable. Yes, if you have large hands, you could slide off the side. I'm used to it because when I'm just gaming casually, I could play on anything that doesn't suck. That Vuelix that I just showed, yeah, you could put your hand all the way over here on that, and that would be totally fine. But price is something to seriously consider. This is $200, not with a wheel, but just saying, like, that's a much bigger deal for a lot more people. Type. Well, let's just see what happens. Oh, it just works. Very, very sensitive, though. Yeah. So unless you could change the sensitivity... And I, for the record, I mean, that's obviously not the spinner's problem. That's going to be every software emulation, and it's one of the many reasons why it's so hard to emulate racing games. But yeah, this is too sensitive. Let me double check if there's anything in here I could change. No, there's nothing about sensitivity in here. Let me try it again with the, So with all love and respect to Fightbox, I appreciate them sending me this. I wouldn't buy the wheel. It's just, if I were a PC gamer, maybe. But this is just not for me. It's not going to be conducive to the games that I play. And I think at that point, I might as well just get an actual steering wheel controller with the sensitivity controls and all that other stuff. However, if you're connecting this to a PC and you have the type of emulation that could do all this manually, then maybe you would want it. But as for the stick itself, I like it. I think for $200 you're getting a lot. Like a lot more than I would have expected. I think maybe we should end the stream by me popping it open in a minute, if I could do that without harming anything. Let me just, I hate to try this again, but let me just reboot one more time. If it comes up, cool. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid was going to happen. Now the sucker's stuck on, and I hope I didn't strip the screw from here. Uh-oh. Alright, let's see what I got to do to get this out of here. Buy a real second-hand wheel for about the same price? Yeah. Maybe. How clicky are the buttons? They're pretty good. They're not as good as the higher-end Sanwa ones that I put into the Vuelix. If I end up keeping this, I might just upgrade that myself. I would have to sell the Vuelix first in order to afford to do that, though. All right, so... Okay, one down, one to go. How am I going to do this? All right, vice grips, I guess. Yeah, this is going to end badly. I hope I don't screw the spinner up. Yeah, that's... How am I going to get this off? I hope I don't have to cut this thing off or something crazy. Do I have a... I think those are the biggest wrenches I have. Oh, come on. Maybe I could do this. Yeah, this is... But now I'm going to scratch the spinner. Son of a bitch. Alright, so obviously the one that was sent to me was warped somehow. Maybe heat and shipping or something like that. I can't imagine they're all like this, otherwise we'd be hearing about it. But wow, this is funny. Anybody have any thoughts? Somebody said heat it up. I guess I could put it in boiling water. I could cut it with a Dremel too. Just snap it. Yeah, that's what I have to do. Went flying across the room. I gotta have more leverage. Let's try this. I'm gonna try one last time, and then I'm just gonna give up and see if I could open it up or something. Do it from this side. Yeah, no, I can't get this thing off. Boiling hot water later on, or a Dremel or something is going to be the only way I actually get to this thing. Sorry, Fightbox. I'd rather ruin your attachment than your metal spinner. Hope they're not too upset with me for this, but I review what I'm sent. No favorites. Alright, whatever. I'm going to have to cut it later. So, now that we're spinnerless at the moment, why don't I try to power this stuff off and just open it up? And then I'll take any questions at the end while I clean all of this stuff up and have to then get out of here at some point. Oh, let me grab a soft thing. So these are riveted, so I assume you open it up from the back, and that's how you get to those screws. But we don't really need to take the top off. We need to take the bottom off. So let me see. Is the spinner metal? Yeah, it's decent quality too. So those are just holes. So I'm going to go with the screws here. Well, that didn't really do anything. I guess let's take this off and see what's here. I'm going to try the side ones first. Yeah, there's a different screw type in the middle. I was assuming the middle is holding the USB jack in. Let me put that back for now and see. Anybody have any idea how to get this thing apart? Today I'm seeing it for the first time just like you all. Do I have to take these rubber things off to get the screws underneath? Let me see if I can. Because they did send me this. I don't want to ruin anything, especially because this actually is a very nice stick. Anybody that jumped on for the wheel testing might think otherwise, and that's just one aspect of it that I don't like. The rest of it I did, especially for $200 when you consider other stuff. All right. I got to be really careful trying this, because if this is not how you get to the button or to the screws, then I don't want to scratch this thing. It's very nice. Okay, so these are just pushing. So I guess this is how we have to get it apart. I mean, let's give this a try. Okay, that is how you get it apart. All right, hold on. Let me get my camera here just right. Okay. Honestly, I don't, you said it seems like a pointless add-on. I don't mean this disrespectfully. I mean it the opposite way, believe it or not, but it seems like they spent a lot of time making a really good fight stick and then went, oh, hey, we could pick these up cheap just if people want a fun little alternative for that too. Let's get that too, which is obviously not an insult. So everything here, if you want to swap these buttons, this should be super, super easy. I should, if I ever wanted to, be able to swap this out right with the Sanwa buttons that I prefer. Kind of hard when you have big ass fingers. Anybody ever see Beast streams where he builds these things? That large man could be very dainty. Yeah, well that works perfect. Push those tabs in, those will slide right out. It's got the two smaller buttons. By the way, for anybody who saw at the beginning of the stream, the Vuelix start button where I put the spinner, I took the smaller button out and cut it to the hole of a full-size button. This is the spinner is an E6B2-CWZ6C. Not sure on the trackball, and then I'll get the camera in so you could see the different. I can't see my screen, so let me. Careful, careful. Okay, I'm gonna try a little better angle. Alright, well at least I know how to get it apart, and when I want to do a lag test on it, I could just tap right into that button and go from there. And it does look like, actually, because of the way this board is wired, it does look like if they wanted to, they could have an attachment that slides on and goes to a DB15 connector with a different rear panel. That looks like it, if that's something people wanted, that looks like an easy addition. Alright, well, let me... So, I'm going to... Ooh, that one popped out. I'm going to probably leave this apart so that I could do a follow-up stream lag testing, or maybe just check anything anybody wants me to test. Or at the very least, push the button out. But let me put the feet back on and put the rear screws back on. And anybody have any questions while I'm still here and while it's still open and everything? Panel does seem plexi, yes. I think it is. What's the solution that it's based off of? It's a Pico solution or something, right? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. It's been a rough couple days. Okay, get this back in. I'll get the feet back in, and then I'll flip it back open so we can check the sticks. And if I do another follow-up stream, I might actually swap just these 6 buttons out with the ones from the Vuelix to see how much of a difference it makes. That might be all it takes for me to make this like my main fight stick, to be honest with you. Actually, I think I want to end trying one thing with the Vuelix, even though I just put it away like an idiot. We're already here. What time is it? Oh, I got 8 minutes. Yeah, it's going to be cutting it close, but that's kind of my life lately, so F it. All right. Let's try... I can't really tell. If Beast was here, he would be able to. Let me, get some extra light in here. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, let me fire this back up real quick. And I want to see, because the solution that I hand wired on mine is a solution that lots of other people are using, in which they have a spinner and their stick, and it's 2 USB connections. And if you're doing something like Arkanoid, that doesn't matter at all, because it doesn't require more than 2 buttons. You can just wire everything up the way you'd like to. It's all totally fine. But if you're doing a game like we were just showing, like Outrun on MAME or something, where it just worked. Whoop! Did I knock my camera over? I hope not. Yeah, so if you're doing something MAME based, it may or may not work. So I just want to test that out and see. Just try that again. Get this out of here. Assuming we can get this to boot in the next couple of minutes, so I actually have time to do it. Last time we tapped it. Any questions you have, please fire away right now, because I'm going to have to end this one on a quick note as soon as it hits time. Don't even have time to clean all this crap up. By crap, I mean my mess of wires, not the fight stick or the CRT or anything. So I'll show what I mean again. Wait, did I knock my camera off? Ha ha. Yeah, wouldn't be a Bob stream unless I messed something up. If I can't get the camera back on, and all right, here we go. Here we go. That's very funny. I wonder how long I had no picture for. So, what I was saying before, right here is the main USB for the buttons and everything. However, right here is for the spinner. So I want to see what happens, because this is your average setup that I've seen so far. Will it even work, or would you require something like the Fightbox? We actually have to have this thing working first, though. That's not it. It's the DAC, huh? Cheap DACs, everybody. Cheap DACs. Should have thought of that when I was asking people if we should do consumer CRT or PVM. PVM, I could have used the other DACs I have. Let me plug this in too. If we can't get it to work, I'm just calling it. I can't be late for a meeting because of a $20 DAC. But I will follow up later just out of curiosity, because I am just kind of curious. You know what? You know what I think I could actually do? Hold on a minute. The camera is probably going to go dead for a minute, but let me just plug it directly into the capture card and hope for the best. Let's see what happens here. Input accuracy seems perfect, and based on what they're using to make it, then I think you're going to be fine. It should be pretty much zero latency. All right, this works. Let's go back to MAME. Let's go to Outrun. Wasn't there a page down option? No, not this. Here we go. I'm picking Outrun because it's a game we already tested. Oop, come on. And let's see if it works with both connected. And I'm sure the aspect's off. I'm sure everything's all messed up here. We got to just deal with it for this quick test, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, so with two separate devices plugged in, it's still working in MAME. And this is definitely how it worked in Mister, because this is how I used it in Mister as well. So at least you know the setup is pretty much similar if you wire one yourself. This is not an insult to Fightbox. I still really like it. By the way, I'm playing looking all the way over my left shoulder through an OBS window that's not full screen on my desktop monitor. So, but at least this is working. All right. So that was interesting. What do I prefer for gaming, consumer CRT or PVM, BVM? I'm such a spoiled brat that I've got to use so many of these amazing monitors that I choose based on the game that I'm playing. So if I'm playing an arcade game, very often I actually prefer playing on like a consumer grade CRT, like the one you saw me playing on today, because it feels like, especially in component video, it feels like you're playing on an arcade monitor. However, for other stuff, I like to play on a PVM. Like if I'm playing consoles, like SNES, I'd love to see a PVM or BVM, either one, whatever you could afford, really. So, but there's no wrong answer. All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining. I like the Fightbox stick a lot. I just don't really like the wheel overlay. I'm going to email them with a whole bunch of thank yous and just let them know that. And hopefully they won't take it the wrong way. I'm going to apologize for destroying the brace, which, by the way, after I let it sit for a minute in direct sunlight, I was able to just pull the spinner controller off of it, off the broken brace, after I'd already smushed it, of course. So that already came out. I just put that back on the Fightbox. Everything else seems to be working. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. I like it a lot. Don't like the steering wheel attachment, but that's fine. And that could also have been just because I played the wrong games with it. But I still think that this is absolutely worth $200 for all this stuff. So yeah, cool.